Hello. Welcome back to our ongoing series of us exploring gargoyles and kind of going episode by episode and kind of giving a rundown in our thoughts. And for this one, we're rating each episode because at least in these ones, they're their own separate stories. Whereas when you watch something that's a bit more, the entire show is one storyline, it's kind of hard to pull the episodes out and rate them as episode by episode.
True.
But I think it's easier for something like Gargoyles because you can go, oh, this episode's about Coyote or whatever. I like Coyote. And then you have fun with it. And then the next episode is about, Coldstone. And you're like, I don't like Coldstone. And there's just kind of, you got some more fluctuation in it.
Mm.
As opposed to when you watch something like The Last of Us, you're either in it for the drudgery and being dragged through emotionally to be like, and your dog's dead. Oh, God.
It's a good show.
It is a good show. It just drags you through emotionally.
Yeah.
So, we are now starting off season 2 with episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, presumably you've seen them because we're going to be talking about them. Presumably you've seen Gargoyles. But if you're watching along, we occasionally drop some future bits, but we try to keep it not as super heavy. But be forewarned that, potentially talking about something that happens in the future of Gargoyles. The show is 30 years old. It's on Disney Plus. It's viewable.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared. It's not going to be the focus of what we're talking about.
If you stumble across this and you're like, oh, this ruined it for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
But most likely you found this because you were looking for it. Or I'm at school testing audio and I wanted to give this a hit.
Yes, and Lance is subjecting you to it.
Yeah.
All right. So first up, episode 1. We have Leader of the Pack, which is after their last escapades, the pack have been all locked up, and a new person shows up to break him out of prison, and Fox is like, I'm going to stay behind, and even protects one of the people just to kind of get the pack back out there, but it's all some big plot by Xanatos to A, test his robot, and B, show that Fox is reformed and ready to be released on early parole or whatever.
He's brilliant.
He's brilliant. This one I think works because essentially that's something you could plot with someone, and really whatever goes on with your robot, whatever. The main purpose of this is to show that Fox doesn't want to escape prison. I'm going to serve out my sentence. That's easy to plan. That doesn't seem quite as what a coincidence this entire time. I meant for this weird thing to happen that you didn't fucking mean for that to happen.
But he plays the rest of the teams for saps.
He doesn't give a shit about the rest of the pack.
But they're family. They're like Olive Garden.
No, they're not. They're not family. They're not driving cars and down the road or whatever.
2 of them are at least brother and sister.
The 2 of them are literally family.
Yeah.
But Fox doesn't, or not Fox, but Xanatos doesn't give a shit about
They're
them.
the young stupid ones, so.
It's more of like his playground to test out shit. They're your experiments to kind of see let's see how this robot works, see how this battle armor works, and see how if I can make these people work. Then not really.
Yeah, it was definitely an episode.
Well, I guess shall we rate it?
Jack loved Coyote.
Okay.
Yeah, he thought he was great. Nick, what did you think?
I actually like this one. I think it would be an 8. Again, I'm grading on the kid show curve.
An 8?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you'd give it a 6.
Oh, I like this one.
So, okay.
This one's fun. I don't dislike the pack. I don't think you're very, very thrilled with the pack.
I find them boring. Just because most of them can't do anything to the gargoyles. The gargoyles have the upper hand.
It depends on what the story calls for. Because in this one they capture Lexington, was it Brooklyn too, and throw them in a tanker. So they were competent.
Still, yeah.
It's just they're competent when the story needs them to be, and they're cartoon villains when they don't need them to be.
So I'm not.
What would you give it?
Okay, this episode I'd give it a 6.
Okay.
Most of the storyline for most of the gargoyle stuff, because you're at least they're competent because they caught these guys. Yeah, you literally caught the 2 weakest ones. Broadway does not get caught a lot. He got caught in an episode, but even then, Like, you get the two weakest ones, and then when Goliath shows up, everything goes to shit.
Well, and Goliath gets kidnapped occasionally. It's not as often, but they get bested when the story needs it.
Yeah.
And it would make something a bit more dramatic or whatever.
But I mean, the coyote armor was fucking dope. It had the fucking like,
little mind melty.
Yeah, the thing that made you like everything go all squirrely and like, you know, made you think you were going insane. The thing could jump like crazy. Like, it was superior armor. If I was Xanatos, I'd never get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, because it was fucking great. But like, the one thing that I've learned from this show is every single time something dope happens and you don't see the person, you're like, it's fucking David Xanatos.
It's Xanatos.
Yeah, the dude's got more money than God, and he's doing what Batman should be doing. He's got crazy amounts of toys.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say at least Batman doesn't even make his own shit in most of the things. I think in some of the stories he makes his own stuff, but for the most part, it's just he's rich, and he just pays for it or allocates it from like military tech, and it's like, I'm spray paint it. Yeah. And put some baddies on it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't take a bunch of nights off. Like, the criminals are like, man, we've been able to like rob and rape and pillage for like 3 months straight, and it's like Batman's down in the basement, like, I gotta get this car going. And it's
I guess Xanatos had more of a hand in like Cold Stone and shit, because he was actually there doing like levers and be like, it's alive.
Yeah.
So he's slightly hands-on, but I don't know how. I don't think he puts this shit together himself. He just pays someone to do it.
Oh yeah, no, that's a definite. Like, someone's definitely putting that shit together, and then he shows up. He does the manager thing. Someone puts it all together, and they're like, it needs something, and he's like, give it squirrely mind sirens, and they're like, okay.
And then he leaves, and they're like, what the fuck is a squirrely mind siren?
We gotta make it happen. It's the boss, and he's got ungodly amounts of money.
No. How about a beam when you shoot at people, their mind goes blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah, I don't get paid to do this stuff, Mrs. Santos. Well, here's a check.
I do get paid.
Well, apparently I do, so let's just make the fucking squirrely mind being happen. So, yeah.
I do get paid to do this shit.
But, like, this episode's good, but it's just... I just thought it was kind of... It was okay. Like, the entire time Coyote's on screen, Jack was like, Wolf! And I was like, kinda.
He's Coyote.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, but like Jack was he was dialed in on this episode, so
I think he'll like the pack in the future then.
Probably
because they all get upgrades or whatever. And I think Wolf will be more fun for him.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be more fun for you, but I think the interesting parts there's not very many episodes in which there are one huge team. For the most part, like in future episodes, they start splitting them up and being like, here's Jackal or Hyena and is it Jackal? Yeah, Jackal doing their own little thing. Here's Wolf's story. Here's a Dingo story. Here's a.
So we get another Dingo story.
We'll get more Dingo.
Okay, because he was not in this episode. So
he was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the one that he didn't get arrested with the rest of the pack. He was the one with Coyote being like, this guy helped spring you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's. This episode was not a very memorable one for me, just for the fact of I don't find the pack very interesting.
So I'm curious to see in the future if they grow on you a little bit more once you get to see them separated.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the pack to me is like if you took the people in the American Gladiators TV show and made them bad guys, you know. And it's like they're not very like Zap is coming for you. Don't get me wrong. If I see her, I'm just be like, oh fuck. But like after a while, it's like, well, she's just a big lady. I mean, like,
but what if she's got claws?
I mean, sure. Look. I'm gonna fucking tape these butter knives to the back of my hand. Like, I mean, it's just they're just people. Like, yeah. But
yeah, I think one of the reasons I've always kind of liked the pack. I think Fox is dope. I like Fox, and then like Jackal and Hyena with like their little, I don't know, claw gauntlets. I'm like, those were cool. I thought those were dope as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, they're fine. Don't get me wrong, but it's just. Compared to some of the other bad guys they run into on the show, to me, they are way down the list.
And at least Wolf is voiced by Clancy Brown.
Yes. But, like, Clancy Brown does another voice in the show, too, right?
Haken.
Yes, Haken.
Haken.
I like Haken. Like,
what have you done, Haken? No.
We'll get there.
Yeah. No, we've been there.
Yeah, and we'll get there again.
Yeah. Haken's coming back.
All right, so are we...
So, I think it's a good episode. We can talk about the next one.
Yeah.
We don't have to dwell on it. I think Leader of the Pack is okay, and it kind of starts with what I enjoy about TV more nowadays. Like, is all one big long story. I like being able to go back and they're episodic. You watch an episode and you're like, oh, I remember the pack. And then 22 minutes later, you're done. And you're not necessarily chomping at the bit to watch the next episode because it didn't leave off on a fucking cliffhanger. You can sit down with your sandwich, watch the pack get beat up by the gargoyles, and then go do something else.
But it's still all builds on a larger storyline. So
I mean, if you didn't watch the last pack episode, why are they in jail? So I mean, it's continuing to go off each other, but they're episodic. It doesn't end in a cliffhanger where you have to watch the next one. At least not every episode.
Now,
I kind of miss that about TV a little bit.
Isn't the person who voiced Fox, isn't that Marina Sirtis?
Damona does is Marina Sirtis. I don't remember.
That's right.
I don't remember who Fox is. Well, she'd be in the leader of the pack. Fox was in the pack. Oh my God, Jonathan Frakes does Coyote. I'm just kidding.
So they had him talking to a voice box for the Coyote voice.
Who does?
The leader.
Laura San Giacomo. I don't think I know her.
Giacomo?
She's in Quigley. I don't know what Quigley is. NCIS. She's in Grey's Anatomy. Is that Fake Doctor? No. Which one is Fake Doctor?
Fake Doctor is Grey's Anatomy.
Okay. She was in one episode, Amber. Marjorie Kersey. If you know her, if you know that from Fake Doctor, like
Amber's like, yeah, it's a lady who came in with a toothache and then walked out with like a unicorn horn coming out of her butt,
an amputated leg or something.
Yeah.
So Amber, if you know Fox from Fake Doctor, let us know.
Please, or if you're like one person who's like wandered across this and you're familiar, just please put it down in the comments. Let us know you're out there.
Yeah, there's nothing. I know Reverse Fox, so there's nothing in here that immediately jumps out at me as like, oh man, she was Teresa Ferrantino in Crime Story. I don't know.
But so, anyways,
yes, that was Leader of the Pack.
Sorry, didn't mean to distract you.
So next up, Metamorphosis.
Mm-hmm.
The one in which Derek, his name's Derek. So at least
knock it off, Elisa. Maybe he just thinks I'm a fantastic pilot.
Yes, a continuation of the Derek storyline.
Derek, your dick's hanging out. Maybe that's the way I wanted to hang out, Elisa. You ever think of that?
I mean, he's got a point.
Derek, you're going to shoot that old woman in the face. This old woman's a bitch, Elisa. Who are you to tell me I can't shoot this old woman in the face? Are you just being combative with me just to be combative, Derek? Don't tell me how to be, Elisa.
Yeah, so the kind of younger brother who's just, stop telling me what to do, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, and to the point where it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, she does seem like she's the kind of person that's like, I know more than you, but the problem is at the end of the episode, she knows more than him.
It'd be different if we didn't watch Elisa know more than him over the course of the show.
Yeah. So
what would you give the Metamorphosis?
So I was going to give this episode a 6, but then I realized that the doctor was Tim Curry, so I'll give it a 7.
Okay, see, it was about Derek, so I didn't think he was going to like it so much.
So, but the only reason is because you had over the top Tim Curry.
Over the top Tim Curry,
and he was so good. I fucking love Tim Curry, so yeah, I'll give it the 7.
Okay, I give this one a 6 just because I'm not super into Derek's storyline and the mutates, I think they're called. I don't remember.
So
like Maggie Claw.
So I like Maggie.
Maggie's an okay. But she's fine.
So I like Maggie only for the fact of she realizes what's going on with him. I like the storyline's been done before where it's like, we need subjects, let's get people in off the street.
Oh yeah.
And even then, Derek sees that the doctor's like, yeah, we're using the less dead to basically make these monsters. And Derek's like, this is not cool. And Xanthus like, you're going down. You're going down for your crimes, Tim Curry.
You're going down, Severius.
Yeah.
Even if I have to go down with you. And then like after he leaves the room, he's like, man, that was a great performance. And Mr. Tim Curry.
Well, it's like, so it didn't even do that. So, and this is the comment that I was going to make, is that he's like, you're going down for this. And then I think there's a part where Derek's not even around, and they're still holding the ruse up, like, you're doing things that are cruel. And it's like, who are you doing this for right now? You know, in case Elisa gets a hold of the fucking camera footage in the corner, and you're just like, high five, Severius. You know, like, it was just like, who are you doing this for? And then, Severius dies.
Yep.
And then later on, he comes back and he's like, I thought I overplayed my performance personally. And it's like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course that's what happens.
You're not going to get rid of Tim Curry.
Yeah, but it's like, still, it was just, oh my God. This episode to me was so corny, only for the fact of, I don't care about Xanatos wanting his own gargoyle monster, cat, flying kitty people.
No.
But I liked Maggie. I liked that Brooklyn took a shine to her, and he was trying to help her.
Oh, yeah, it's got to imagine, like, I think they're all supposed to be like teenagers, essentially.
Right.
And it's you and your three brothers. Mm-hmm. You're kind of like, where are the ladies at?
Right.
It's like, oh my God, I'm so fucking tired of being around family all the time. And then, like, someone who might, you're like, oh shit, she looks weird. She's looked just different. She's probably, maybe we could, there could be some sort of empathy between us. She would understand what's going on. She's like, fucking monsters.
Yeah.
Like, look in the mirror, bitch.
Yeah, right. I'm a monster too, and I hate myself. It's like, okay, there's no helping you. I got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I think, I don't care about Derek. No. I don't care about his Xanatos doing whatever he can to get, like, give it up on the Gargoyles. Like, knock it off. You lost him. Stop fucking with him. You know, like, put some of those resources into, like, I want you to go on this ship and I want you to steal these hard disks. And it's like, okay, the fucking coyote armor. Mm-hmm. Like, that shit is dope as fuck,
yeah, sell
man.
That shit.
Yeah, just make more of that.
You know what it reminds me of? You know that panel of Sauron from the X-Men, or the Marvel Universe? Where it's like, oh my God, Sauron, with this technology, you could be curing cancer. He's like, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know exactly.
And it's like, Xanatos, with your resources, you could cure cancer. I don't want to cure cancer. I want to make gargoyles. It's like, okay, man, sorry, whatever.
Yeah, sorry, you do you, boo.
It's like, could you sell this battle suit to the military? No, I just want to fly around and shoot shit. Like, okay, all right.
I want to make goofy head lasers. You already have that. It's in the coyote suit. Well, I want to make them goofier and bigger. You know, it just that's the only thing that drives me nuts about that particular cartoon is that he is so gargoyle obsessed. And the thing that really kind of gets me about him is it's like, you have one. She's there constantly. She's like the one who can cast spells, and she's constantly plotting bullshit, and she uses rifles.
Oh, she also hates him.
Well, but she still works with them because they're common enemies. They have a common enemy. So, like, it's like, I think Damona's kind of hanging out somewhere in the clock tower, like, fucking broke. Ain't got a home. There's not really a lot going on. There's a whole sub-storyline that I am not aware of at this point. I guess I'll go work with Xanatos because he has big, fun lasers to shoot gargoyle heads off of.
It's like, man, I want to do some spooky shit, but I need robotics to make a body. Mm-hmm. And then, bam, cold stone. And you need to do kooky stuff.
Yeah, it's just, I love this cartoon. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cartoon.
But yeah, no, don't. I'm not looking for logic.
Yeah. It's why is Xanatos obsessed with gargoyles? I mean, if you look at the name of the show.
And I'm sure he's told this story, but I was with you when you took your copy of Gargoyles for John and Frakes to go sign.
Not this one. Not my season 1 one.
Yeah. And I'll never forget the happiness on John and Frank's face when, like, he walked up.
Nick, and it wasn't Star Trek.
Yeah, Nick walked up and handed him the DVD case, and he was like, he kind of looked at it, and he was like, I loved you as David Xanatos. And that, he howled laughing, happily signed it, and handed it right back, and was like, thank you so much. I think he'd forgotten he had been in that one. No, just the way he did that. Because also keep in mind, when Jonathan Frakes shows up at DragonCon, that dude is fucking drunk. That dude gets loose. He enjoys being there. He loves having fun with the people. So, but yeah, it's Gargoyle is always going to have. Oh, and I saw something the other day. They're back. They're making some more.
Comics?
They're comics.
Yeah, I've got 3 issues.
Okay. Well, I think that this is supposed to be the prelude to actually bringing the cartoon back. I think because the dude who was in control of it at the first season or whatever is writing the comics again.
Yeah, but I don't want more cartoon. I don't think. It's because you're not going to get everyone back, and if you are, it's going to be like that the Lion King remake situation where you're trying to jam James Earl Jones and be like, voice Mufasa again, and he sounds like an 80-year-old man. Or you try to get him to voice Darth Vader, and it's like, I'm Darth Vader. It's like, let the man retire, please. And it's just more of, you're going to get either bring back Keith David, and I don't know that he's got the same
He does.
strength quite like he used to, or try to get anyone back and have them sound the same. They're going to sound older. Or you're going to recast them.
So what if you did Gargoyles 20 years later?
Maybe.
Where their voice...
But,
I mean, you're not getting Ed Asner back. That ain't
Yeah.
fucking happening.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... I hear what you're saying, but it's like, if you're going to do Gargoyles at this point, they had Angela... Mm-hmm. They've had different gargoyles, so it's like you'd have to do it from different gargoyles' points of view.
Maybe if now at this point in time, Goliath is like in the Hudson role, you could potentially do it and have maybe Brooklyn be the Goliath instead. But I don't like Brooklyn. He's okay.
I think Broadway. I think Broadway had the biggest learning curve.
Brooklyn was and ended up being the second in command.
Okay, well, it's like to me, it's kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing, where it's like, which one of them has the most growth potential? And I think that would be Broadway, because all he wants to do is sit around, watch TV, and eat food. And then like
Broadway goes through arcs more than some of the other ones, I think.
Well, it's like his whole thing is, I just want to sit around and like chill and like eat food and just have a good time. And then he's had to grow, so it's like, to me, he's had the longest path to for growth. Like, kind of like when I watched Avatar. When you're looking at like everyone on Avatar, and it's like, who has the most growth potential, and you're like, it's fucking Zuko. Like, Zuko had to do the most growing up on that show.
Yeah.
He had the biggest redemption arc, and that's why he ended up becoming like the big boy. You know, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just leave it vague. But I guess Brooklyn taking it would make sense. But
well, it's in this season, he ends up being the number 2.
Number 2?
Number 2.
Number 1, I order you to go take a number 2. And you, take your shirt off. Sorry.
Is that an extras joke?
No, it's a Beavis and Butthead joke.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, this
one I'm not big on.
Yeah, I'm not big on it either. But the second Tim Curry starts talking, I was just like, okay. There he is.
So this one got
sentimental.
Yeah, it's more of like, whatever. Oh, Tim Curry. Never mind. This is fun. Because he does the hammy mad scientist.
Yeah, I have not made any kind of, I have not been covert in my hatred for the brother sister storyline between
It's
between the Mazza family, but it's like, I don't know. It'd be one thing if they agreed on something, but it's like every single thing. The sky's blue. It is not, Elisa. Sometimes it's dark outside.
Sometimes it's night.
It's like, oh god. Okay. But yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah.
Metamorphosis, it's okay. It's got Tim Curry. That elevates it. I will agree. Tim Curry elevates this episode.
It's an awesome guy.
Anything with Severius, well, not anything with Severius, but it's better with him.
It's better with Tim Curry.
Yes. So next up is Legion.
Mm-hmm.
The one in which which Cold Stone wakes up again out of his, last episode. Well, it's only like 2 or 3 episodes ago. Like the end of season 1 was him going down in the water and like, man, what happened with Cold Stone? Watch 2 more episodes and then he's back.
So how long was he down there?
It doesn't seem like long.
Does the sun just eternally shine down there and he was stoned? Because
he doesn't turn stone.
His biological still has to breathe, right?
No. I think he's mostly robot. I don't know if he's got actual fleshy bits in him or not. I don't know. He seems like he's a robot with bits. I don't.
To me, he's an android. He seems like he's a gargoyle that has like robot parts. Because, like, clearly one side of his face is real, but he's, like, got the robot eye in the one thing. So, it's like, how much of him is alive and how much of him is dead? And can he live on the bottom of the river?
But also, Coyote has flesh looking on him. So, I don't know if he is actually a flesh and blood and robotics, or if he's intended to be mostly... Consider him to be robotic, because he can walk around in the daytime. He doesn't need to breathe. He doesn't need to eat because he's still alive down there at the fucking bottom of the Hudson.
That's a really good point. I never thought of the fact that he doesn't turn to stone, which means he doesn't heal.
Yeah.
So
I think he has to be repaired in order to get better. So I don't know how much I would consider him a gargoyle. Like in the flesh and blood sense.
I just wanted to see the robot, half of him shoot up, and there's like a fucking gargoyle skeleton like hanging out of half the suit.
He's like, God damn it.
It's not like a fish bitten thing.
So this one's mostly about the fact that they kind of introduce the fact that he's got two other personalities in him, which you can kind of get a sense of in the last one, where he kind of acts a bit kind of erratic sometimes. It's because he's got kind of the brother that hates him, and then his like love interest, and then him all inside his head, and whichever one happens to come out is who's driving the particular car that day.
Well, it's like him. There's him or Rookery Brother. Oh, I love you so much. And then there's Rookery Brother. You're trying to take my girlfriend, which is still him. Mm-hmm. And then there's is that the meanie guy version?
No, that's the conniving one. Is kind of the Rookery Brother. He's like, haha, got you, bitch.
So there's technically 4 personalities.
There's Coldstone, who is the one that looks like him. Mm-hmm. Then there is Iago, who they don't actually name, and then Desdemona, who again they don't actually name. But if you look at the credits at the end of the episode, they go, Michael Doran's Coldstone, this guy's Iago, this guy's Desdemona, but they don't have names per se.
Right. Okay.
I think it was kind of like
and then Xanatos is in there too.
The evil program Xanatos or whatever.
Yeah, because he's narrating to.
He's the programming to kind of like, I'm behind all of this to kind of.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
And then he's still trying to monologue and like explain himself to like Gargoyles. See, I did this to like bring your friend back and like do this, and it's like, go eat a dick, Xanatos. God damn it, Gargoyle! I'll just never pull you over, so I'm gonna build another suit to fucking trick you.
So, what would you give Legion?
5.
Oh, really? I didn't flop to my next one. I had 6 lined up after that. And then we line up the next one.
I'm not big on Coldstone. That dude can go back to the creamery for all I give a shit. I'm not crazy about him.
See, I think this one is I got the last one a 6. I think this one's a 7 for me. Because I do kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's wonky, but I kind of enjoy you come across Coldstone, who's in charge, and sometimes he's working with Goliath, and sometimes he's like working with Xanatos, sometimes working with Demona, and he's kind of all over the place, and that's kind of fun.
So the reason I give this episode a lower one is just for the fact of I'm not crazy about Coldstone because he's just so easy to go into whatever it is, and he always does the bloop 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 bloop, and then like it's like if I was Goliath, I'd be like, "Come, Rookery Brother, come, stay here with us." And the second I saw that, I'd be like, bloop bloop, be like, "Watch that bitch!" And then as soon as he was like, "Goliath, I think we should go in the back and talk," I'd be like, "Shoot him." Shoot him! Like there should be. It should be easy to tell when he's going in and out because his eye does a little flashy thingy.
They also only just learned that. Like he found like, oh shit, here's my brother. I'll take him back. Like we've got a house, and Coldstone's like, yeah, let's fucking go, buddy. Yeah. It's like we got a place to live, and then he kind of goes back, and then he like blinks out, and he's Desdemona instead, and she's kind of like, where the fuck am I? And
panicking. Yeah.
So it's more of Iago does not know where the clock tower is, but Othello and Desdemona do.
Othello.
That's Coldstone.
Well,
they gave them all in the writing prompts or whatever.
Macbeth names.
That's Shakespearean names.
Or Shakespearean names, okay.
So he was Othello, she was Desdemona, he was Iago.
I just thought the whole virus thing was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's wonky, and the way it works is kind of silly.
And then the fact of like Goliath going into virtual reality, and they're like, "Goliath, come on!" Ah! And it's like, oh, that's being in virtual reality like makes you electric or something.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it was whatever. You need to keep him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Bluestone.
He grows on me eventually, but not in this one.
Yeah, he's trying to be like employee of the month, but he comes off as kind of like a bumbling dumbass because he doesn't know what he's up against. Yet he's seen them. He's seen gargoyles. He knows they're out there.
But, the one he shot at, it bounced off because he shot Xanatos. Or Coldstone or whatever. He shot like one of the ones that was flying away. It's like, at least he tried to stop him when he shot. And you hear the patang. And she's like, so potentially, maybe they're just all robots. And he's like, oh, there's some weird robot shit going on.
But I mean, he's a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
You think he'd be the fastest to be like, gargoyles, living flesh gargoyles, that, come out and blah. So,
well, I mean, I don't know. What's more crazy conspiracy theory? Gargoyles, they're real and they turn to stone at night. Or this rich man owns all the resources to make robot machines that go around and steal shit for him.
It's kind of a toss-up either
I know,
way, really. Anyway, yeah, it's 50-50 now that you put it that way. But yeah, this episode, it's not my favorite, again.
Yes.
There's a lot of... I know I'm talking about it like I don't like this show. I love the show. But like the thing is that I haven't watched this show since...
You were a child, yeah.
I was younger.
Yeah. In your 20s or whatever, maybe?
Yeah. In my 20s is when I used to rush home from, work or wherever I was to try and watch this when it came on. Because like we said in an earlier video, you watched it when it came on or you just missed it.
Yeah.
And I think I was recording the episodes on VCR back then, just so I could catch them. But yeah, I'm not crazy about Cold Stone. I was super stoked that they were trying to get the next generation people more work, because there's a lot of next generation people in this show. But yeah, he's just not my favorite. And the funny part is I fucking love Michael Dorn. I think he's great. But
I think Cold Stone's okay. And it's okay. I enjoy this episode enough. It's weird. There's the weird wonky bits. Like you said, the Xanatos machine is weird. The like Goliath having to go into virtual reality and him being electrocuted, like or whatever. Elisa and Cold Stone driving up on the boats and like the gargoyles floating up behind him and fucking with the boats, and then like when they get to the end and Lisa's kind of Cold Stone's like, it's not here. And Lisa's like, wah, wah. I'm like, okay, it's weird, but it's okay.
Yeah, the system's here, but nobody else is here. That's crazy, right?
Wah, wah. Okay.
Okay, so hold on, Matt. I'm going to walk over here. Who are you talking to? Nobody. Yeah. I playing her partner for a fucking sap. But we'll talk about that in for later episodes.
Yeah, that's when we get a bit more Bluestone or whatever, where he's not just acting as kind of like the wacky, like, oh man, what's going on with all this shit. I think once he gets tuned in, he's a bit more fun.
And you have another stone: Blue Stone, Cold Stone,
Nightstone.
Yeah, there's a lot of stone going on, but of course, it's like, okay, gargoyle stick. We need like names. Well, they turned to stone, so okay. Chet, how many times are we going to use this? Well, at least 3. Okay, at least 3. All right, let's let it go from there.
Let's keep going.
It's just just okay.
I like this one. It's okay. It's not the best one, but I do like it.
It's all right.
It's all right. Next up, A Lighthouse in the Sea of Time. So this one in which, so we get Macbeth back. And he's trying to steal the scrolls of Merlin, which have recently been unearthed. And then you get wacky adventures with mostly Hudson, a little bit of Broadway.
A little bit of Broadway. You get some talkie time with Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway gets kidnapped by Macbeth and kind of gets to learn a little bit about him at least. And then Hudson falls into the ocean and kind of washes up and comes across what was it? Robinson? Was that the guy's name?
It was voiced by Keith David. That's all I know.
Robinson?
I think so.
I don't think it was. Robinson. Robbins. Jeffrey Robbins. Paul Winfield.
No.
I don't know him, but he looks familiar.
He does look familiar.
He was Taxler in the Terminator, or Traxler. I don't know who that is. He was
Tyrell in
He was in Star Trek Wrath of Khan.
He's one of the cops. He was one of the cops at the station.
He was in Mars Attacks. I mean, Star Trek 2? That's Wrath of Khan, right?
Yeah, I think he's an admiral in Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of a stockier man. If I showed you like a collection of his filmography on TV, you'd be like, it's that fucking. He's another that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks familiar.
Yeah, he's a character actor that's been like in a large array of things, with not a lot of lines. But
I really like Jeffrey Robbins. I think he's kind of dope.
Yeah.
So what would you give a Lighthouse in the Sea of Time?
I would give it an 8.
An 8? Oh, yeah, 7. I'm with you. I think this one's also an 8. It's got I mean, it's a show for kids, and it's kind of got that little bit of a reading is magic and transports you to the whatever. So they're trying to get your kids to read.
Yeah.
Which is whatever.
It was a Hudson episode, and I fucking love Hudson.
Yeah. But the actual story of the episode, I think, is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And
it was a learned man that could not see the gargoyles for the monsters that everyone take them for. So basically, kind of like opened up and kind of got Hudson past his fears. You know, why do you want to learn how to read? And he's like, I just never bothered. And it's like, oh, well, there's so much more out there. There's so many more stories and everything. And like, basically, cracking an old person's mind once they're set on something is fucking. It's a Herculean task.
Yeah, I think something I also appreciate about this episode when they're all going out to like do shit or whatever in the beginning, and Hudson's like, I'm just gonna watch celebrity hockey. I'm like, celebrity hockey? I never caught that before. You know, he says, I'm going to watch celebrity hockey, which means Hudson is watching enough TV at this point in time that when they're celebrities and they're going to be playing hockey, he's like, fuck, I'm tuning in for this.
Okay.
So him and Bronx, it's the old man and his dog sitting down in the recliner watching trash on TV and just being like, you guys go have your fun. I'm going to sit here and watch celebrity hockey.
Well, it's not only that, but it's like also like, I think when Keith David signed on, they were kind of like, you're playing the main guy. You're going to be in a lot of episodes. And when they got Ed Asner was like, I'm shooting 3 other shows. And they're like, well, we'll just have you drop a couple of lines and you'll be, spotlighted on this one, but then we won't talk about you for like 4 episodes. We'll have you just say this line. Not today, boys. I'm watching TV. Okay, well, that's literally, we'll just stitch this in one of the episodes and people will be okay with you like chilling out. But it was a Hudson episode. I fucking love Hudson.
Yeah. So Hudson, I like Hudson. I do like Macbeth as well.
Yes. So Macbeth is voiced by
John Rhys Davies.
So yes. So for those, it's Gimli.
Yeah.
So just but I like Macbeth's character. I like the fact that there's no malice in what he does.
He wants to do what he wants to do, and they get in his way, so he fights them because they're in his way.
And even then, like whenever he has them, and they're just like, "Kill me if you want to," and he's like, "I don't want to kill you.
Yeah.
I just need you to not be in my way when I'm trying to get what I want."
Or like when he shows up at Robin's house, he's like, "Hey, my friend came through here. You haven't seen him, have you?" And he's like, "Oh, he left a little while ago." And then he goes out, sees that Hudson is holding the tube. He just takes the tube. He doesn't like smash the statue or anything. He's just that's all I want.
Yeah, and I dig his character for that. Like I also like the fact that he had his two lackeys, but his lackeys were like super competent for the most part.
They each lost the tube.
They lost the tube, but it's like you had the tanker at the beginning. They dropped it on fucking vertical takeoff and landing. They dropped it on Harriers.
Yeah.
Kicked a lot of fucking ass and then like dipped out on Harriers, and then the Gargoyles were like, let's go grab one of the Harriers and like dick with them a little bit. But still, like they still kind of held their own. 2 people. In my opinion, they did way more than the pack ever did. And then even still, once you get back to the castle, that were like his only 2 people at the castle. So like when the Gargoyles showed him, he's like, handle it. Like you had those 2 people run out there and like try to get contain the situation. They lost. Because they're supposed to.
Yeah, they're the villains.
But yeah, like,
you lose.
But yeah, it's. I kind of dug their lackeys.
I kind of like that he was over there doing his thing and like, boss, they're coming back. He's like, well, handle it. I pay you.
Yeah, what do I pay you for?
Yeah, I pay you to handle it. And he's like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's this episode I would put slightly higher than most I've seen this season, only for the fact of great storyline, great message.
Sure. Teach your kids the magic of reading or whatever, and at the end when he's like, it's just some journals, and it's like, no, it's you get to learn about Merlin's life. That's not trash. You don't need spells. It's just his life, and learning about King Arthur is enough.
But like that was the other thing that I think I really loved about the episode is that when Broadway was like, oh, you're gonna kill me, and it's like, oh, yeah, I don't give a shit about you. I just need you out of my way, And then like your friends are gonna come for you, and they're gonna have the other side of what I need, when he was talking about like Merlin's life, everything that's in here, his scrolls, his blah, and I just like Broadway had that epiphany. He's like, you talk about it like you were there,
and he's just like, no, I've read it, and it's kind of like, oh, he's like, reading takes you.
Yeah.
So I think that was the takeaway that Broadway ends up going with is kind of like, oh, it's like when you read, it's like you're there, and you can speak about these things with experience, like you lived it, despite the fact that you just read it.
I mean, honestly, what's your opinion? What is the most important skill to learn in life?
Reading is pretty freaking important. I mean, beyond just the putting food in your own mouth.
I mean, that thing, I think a lot of that just kind of comes second nature.
Yeah.
You know, like, I need to eat, I need to sleep, I need to drink water, but it's like from skills.
So like reading is super fucking important, especially like nowadays when like you have access to all the knowledge you need here. You just have to be able to like type some shit in. Like, I don't know how to fix a sink, but I know how to go to YouTube and through my reading prowess type in fix sink, and I might be able to screwball something together.
Give it 20 years and nothing will be in print anymore. It'll just be people talking on videos, but you know, books on tape and stuff like that. But still, it's like reading has to be the most fundamental skill on the planet because there's so much of the world's knowledge in print.
Yeah, or at least because I know there's like with what Robbins was essentially all about. It's like, man, I'm blind and Braille is a way for me to read, and if they invent a new way to take in knowledge, then I'll learn that. So nowadays it might be reading. In the future it might be everything might be essentially audiobooks or whatever. And if that's how you have to get knowledge, then whatever. I think it's more of reading as a means to pull in more knowledge, hence why it's important.
Word. I agree with that 180%.
Word.
But yeah,
words are power.
But yeah, Robbins is a good character, but it's like I'm a sucker for Hudson. I just think he's great.
And I like that Hudson and gets like to buddy around with some old war vet, and he kind of even shows up and he's like, "Man, you're a vet, aren't you?" He's like, "How can you tell?" He's like, "I can hear it in your voice." And he's like, "I'm still kind of a warrior or whatever." And it's fun.
Yeah.
And then kind of sit down and kind of like pal around, and Hudson to walk up and the dog just being like, "Oh, cool." Hudson gets along with dogs.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, he smelt Bronx on him.
Oh yeah.
So you know, you don't fuck with Bronx.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's easily so far my favorite episode of the season.
Okay. So I think we are coming up next month on The Mirror, The Silver Falcon, Eye of the Beholder, and Vows. I think we'll do all 4 of those. Because the next part after that is City of Stone, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I think in order to block them up nice and neat.
Every thumbnail has Demona on it, so he's really going to like this series.
Well, the City of Stone is a Demona storyline told over 4 parts. So you can color that with my opinion of Demona. But
Demona episodes automatically get a 6. And then it's just...
I think Gargoyles automatically gets a 6.
Believe me, dude, for the longest time when I was younger, I'd just be like, it's time of mystery, it's an age of gargoyles. That tune lived rent-free in my fucking head when I was younger. I fucking loved that cartoon so much.
I mean, I will admit that this show is colored by nostalgia for me. And I'm bringing my own baggage of what it means to me as a child and when I watch it again. But I think it is still good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what intrigued me the most when you made the suggestion of doing like a Gargoyles review, because it's like, I watched it when I was younger. I haven't watched it now. I've got a son that I could share this with. So it was kind of like, because I remember I had the argument with Joe where I was like, he was like, why do you like Transformers? I was like, I liked the cartoon when I was a kid. I liked the toys. And he's like, do you still like the cartoon? I was like, yeah, it's fucking dope. And he was like, have you watched it?
Yeah, go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, and I went back and watched it, and it is straight trash. So, like, I was just so intrigued by the idea of doing that when you suggested it, and I'm super glad we're here doing it. But my opinion has changed on the show on some of the characters, because I used to like Cold Stone. Because I thought his character was somewhat complex. Now I just find his character inconvenient. Because if I was Gargoyles, I'd just be like, he'd be like, oh yeah, let's go back to the castle. Like, oh, here's the castle, check it out. And then like he's like, wait, who are you people? What's going on here? I gotta go. I'd be like, later, bitch.
Yeah, we don't need that complexity in our life.
Yeah, we got bigger fish to fry here.
I mean, might be a valid point if there was, like, there's 5 humans left, and we're in this world of weird werewolves or whatever. And be like, hi, I'm a human. Oh, human. Come hang out with us. I remember you from back when there were more humans. And he's like, and you're like, okay. You're kind of a crazy human, but we'll fix you.
Yeah, well, okay, so let me just alter that just ever so slightly. You're 5 humans in a world full of like werewolves.
Yeah.
And then like you're like, oh, human, God, yeah, please. And then the guy's like, no, I'm okay. And be like, hey, you can go.
You're a werewolf.
Yeah, you can fucking go. Like, yeah. No, I'm just part werewolf. There's some werewolf blood in me, but I only turn into werewolf sometimes. Like 1/3 of the time, you're not really sure when you're dealing with the werewolf. I turn into a werewolf
on the blue moon.
Yeah. Just, I'd be like, bye. We don't need that complexity in our life. That's just me, though. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, give Xanatos a few more episodes and he'll find like, oh, it's fucking Mariana Trench. I found this fucking mermaid gargoyle, and over here in fucking Scotland, I found this fucking like crazy, like he's really good at digging shit up.
Yeah.
So, and for some reason he's like, I gave you life. Look, I brought you back. I put a castle on top of a building just so you could live again. Eat dick, Xanatos. God damn it. He can't win. That's
it. The thing that's changed for you is when you were in the 20s, like, man, Goliath is fucking amazing. Now that you're in your, you're like, man, Xanatos, why can't those people just love him for bringing them back to life? He paid all those bills.
Well, it's not only that. But it's
he paid the bills. He put the castle on it, and they just don't give a shit about him.
I mean, but what did he do? Like, I guess that's the other part. Is like, he's so brilliant, but he can't figure out how to make people love him.
He's manipulated and gaslit them.
And that's the thing. But it's like, at the same time, it's kind of like, what did he do to earn so much ire by the end of the episode? In the first series of episodes, it was, I manipulated you to go get software out of a fucking flying ship.
It's I stole your home. That's my place. I gaslit you. And then when you were like, man, I don't really trust him that he's gaslighting us. You shot a rocket at us. And had robots that were designed to shoot lasers at us.
I mean, okay. Point taken.
Okay.
But when I come home, this is not the dog's house. Mm-hmm. The dog lives in the house, right? The dog can't tell me this is my home. You have to leave it.
But the difference is you didn't show up and be like, oh, this is a pretty cool place. Oh, the dog lives here? Oh, okay. Well, I'll buy the house. You didn't buy the house with the dog in it.
Well, okay. Well, so with your analogy, I see a house, I buy the house, and they're like, there's a dog that's been living in the house, but it seems friendly. I was like, okay, it can stay in there.
Well, then, then you walk up and be like, so what's up, dog? You live in this house? He's like, yes, I lived here.
Well, if
like, oh, shit, he talks.
Yeah.
Talking dog.
Yeah, but it's like, this is my house. Be like, okay, well, pay half the fucking mortgage then, bitch. And we'll see how much the house is really yours. Well, I mean, I was here when the house was built. Yeah, well, I bought it. You were in the backyard, like, peeing in that corner for, 1,000 years, and then I bought the fucking house, so...
I don't have thumbs.
Yeah.
The door was closed.
To me, the concept of them being mad at him for something that was never theirs, like, it was never their castle. They lived there, the humans, it was the humans' castle, they were there for protection. Mm-hmm. It's literally like hiring a fucking... It's like hiring a Wells Fargo guy to, like, protect your business. And he's like, I've been working at this building for 40 years. It's my building. It's like, no, I give you a check.
So in Scotland, the Gargoyles lived in that area. And then the humans came and built a castle there. So it was their land. Humans built a castle on their land. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, okay, well, we can get along. Be like, okay, you can come into our place. You can build your castle and we'll protect you and you'll protect us. But it's essentially, it was their land. People moved in and built a fucking castle. So it's kind of like, I don't know. The dog is here. It's like, I'm a talking dog. Someone came up and like, we're going to build a house here. It's like, I could sleep under a roof. That's pretty cool, I suppose. I'll keep people out of your house. And then someone came and stole the house and moved it over here and be like, get the fuck out of my castle. It's like, oh my God, I don't have anything. Why do you keep taking shit from me?
Yeah, but like if I came home and I looked at the dog and I want you to go next door to steal the other dog's bone and bring it back over here. And then you go and you steal the other dog's bone and you bring it back. It's like, why did you make me do that? I hate you. And it's like,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that is the what seals the deal on the hatred. Yeah. But still, even like people who are as despised as Demona even gets a second chance. Because like whenever she shows up to Brooklyn, and he's just like, no, traitor, and he starts to run up. She's like, just give me a second. And he's like, okay, listen.
Oh, it's a Brooklyn's done with her now.
Oh yeah, well I mean it's kind of like once they're done with something in the show, it's over. So Broadway's done with guns. Anytime he sees a gun, he goes fucking Hulk smash and destroys it. Brooklyn hates her. Fucking Lexington, when he sees the pack, he goes fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like they all have their things that like drive them over the edge and make them unmanageable. Because like Lexington just he tickles me because when he sees the pack, he's like, let me at him. He's like Scrappy Doo. Let me at him. I'll splat him. You know.
And someone's just kind of like holding it. Come on, Lex.
Like Wolf comes up and he's just like, yeah, you're adorable. You know, like it's just I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's like literally punch at your weight, dude. I mean, he did build a helicopter and go after two of them.
I mean, and he also could rip through steel. So I mean,
there's that.
I think he's punching above his weight class.
A little bit. He's punching down. I think he's punching down.
Down on steel?
Yeah. I mean...
He can't get through a tanker, though. Tanker's just too thick.
Yeah, well, that's what Goliath's there for. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he's also, like, the smartest one. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, motherfucker built... not only did he...
fixed and remodeled a helicopter in one night.
Yeah, one night.
And then was flying it around.
And equipped it with missiles.
Yep. Well, like net missiles too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it wasn't only to use the technology was there. I've got to modify it to shoot fucking nets.
Yeah, and someone's like, "Man, let's 10 years smart." He's like, "I gotta sell some fucking toys."
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's all about the toys. Amber and I were talking about The Mandalorian the other night, and she said, not a spoiler, but she said there are some of the Mandalorians of the old religion. She's like, I'd like to see it to where they never take off their helmet. Because, like, I was thinking about that. I was like, how dirty do you think their fucking faces are? How swollen do you think they are from, like, not doing this? And she goes, well, I mean, they could take it off in the private suit, like, wash themselves and stuff like that. I get that. That's fine. But she's like, I hope they never show, like, after Din does a thing, like, they never show the face again. And it's like, you have to sell toys. The second the armor, like, catches fucking fire, they're going to have the armor with helmet and the armor without helmet. Like, they have to sell toys. It's going to happen. So... I don't know, but anyways, right. we're not talking about Star Wars.
No, we want to wrap up our Gargoyles coverage for this month here.
Thank you for joining us on episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 of season 2 of Gargoyles.
Yep.
We hope you are enjoying the series.
Yeah, if you are watching along with us, let us know. If you're watched ahead, which I think you should do, and then come back and rejoin us, just so we can all talk about future plot points.
Mm-hmm. And if you've never seen the show before, give it a chance.
Yeah, or show it to your kids, as some people here are doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of this stuff is a lot better than a lot of stuff that we have right now. So, like, that's the thing that I'm envying Jack on, is that when Jack gets old enough, I'll be able to sit down and be like, dude, you've got so much good cinema to watch.
Oh, you've got all the stuff that came out in your time, all the stuff that came out in my time, all the stuff that came out in my dad's time. It's just the amount of good media out there is only growing.
It's going to be, oh my God. It's just the day we sit down and show him Iron Man 1. And he was like, oh my God, that was a good movie. And I was like, you haven't seen shit.
There's 10 more years of this.
Yeah. There's so many other movies that build off of this. So I'm so looking forward to sitting down and going through that with him. But I also thought of something else the other day that I don't know if I brought it up here. And it does not have anything to do with Gargoyles. I just have to point it out.
Yeah.
Most of the Marvel movies that have come out, I've seen once.
Some of the recent ones I've gone back and watched.
I've gone back and watched Endgame.
I've watched all of the phase 1, 2, and 3. At least 2, maybe some of them 3 or 4 times.
I saw most of those movies, like Thor, I've seen one time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, once. Like most of those movies, you see it in the theater initially when they first come out, and you're like, man, that was a really good movie. And then I haven't gone back and watched most of them. Amber and I sat down and started doing like a rewatch through the seasons. I think we got to Hulk, and we tapped out for right now.
What's the second movie?
Well, maybe not Hulk then. Maybe it was Thor.
Okay. Thor is like the fourth movie.
Yeah.
It's Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2. Then I think it's Thor. I can't remember if it's Captain America, if it's Thor.
I don't remember, but
I think it's Thor.
It was pretty quick where we stopped, but it's like we didn't really have time, and there's like so much other television on right now. So
yeah, it's again there's so much good media out there, and it's only growing.
Yep.
Let's going back and watching Gargoyles. Maybe it's a time investment, but each episode's 22 minutes.
Yeah, maybe go.
You want eat a sandwich, watch an episode.
Yeah, maybe go to your representatives and help us get some of this fucking threat of nuclear war, so we can keep getting cool shit to watch. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, you want more Hulk? Get yourself into the Cold War. Woo!
All right.
A trade-off. I think we're done here. All right. Bye, everybody.
Take it easy.